Hi, my name is Hannah Booth, and the case study that I chose to talk about today was the Norman Brinker and Brinker International, and to answer some of the questions as to what he was like as a person and what he did for his companies and organizations to get to where he is today. So at first, after reading the case study, one of the first questions or topics to discuss was, in what ways was Norman Brinker a manager and in what ways was he a leader? I definitely think that these two, being a manager and a leader, do compare well and have similar representations, but there is differences that can really separate them apart in different ways. So for some of his managerial skills, people did want to work for him. It's not being a manager, you aren't just able to show up to the job. You're going to need people to actually help you get the job done. He created goals and he met the status quo. He didn't just simply wake up one day and want to become a manager. He had to then say, what can my next step be? What can I do to continue to show that my businesses are successful and that I am doing good at leading people? And then he did understand the work required for a successful business, and that kind of flows into his leadership skills. Being just starting off as a leader, starting these businesses he wasn't just going to be able to open them. So the managerial skills did give him the ideas and give him the knowledge he was going to need to continue on in his career. So to go into some of his leadership skills, people did not just work for him, but they followed Brinker beyond just being a worker. And when I say just followed him, it means that they were passionate and believed in him, and they gave him the support that led him into making these additional businesses and continue on in his career. He had a very strong work ethic, obviously, as we can see by the many companies that he opened, and he was very creative and optimistic when forming his visions, and obviously having that creative mindset is something very important for an entrepreneur because you're trying to create something that the world has yet to see or something slightly different enough to get people interested. So the second topic that we are going to look at is describe the nature of followership that Norman Brinker has sought to develop at Brinker International. And the mission statement that I found that I thought was very interesting was, at Brinker International, our passion is to make people feel special, and one of the ways we live this passion is by giving to the communities we serve. And so I think this just goes above and beyond to show that this man was not just wanting to open these businesses to have a bigger paycheck. He was wanting to actually make a difference in the community as well, helping in a positive way. And so he was a very giving person. He took some of his companies and for example, at some of his restaurants, he would do give backs for local nonprofit organizations and would do anything he can with the excess food and helping food pantries to keep stuff going, running smoothly. The third thing that he really discussed was what skills would you personally need to develop to become a leader like Norman Brinker? And then what could you do to develop or refine those skills? And after reading more in this case study, I definitely think that he took the risk to get the reward, and I think that's something I would have to work on, as I'm not a very risky person, and that is something you need to believe in yourself for when you're going to be an entrepreneur. Also to see a situation from different viewpoints besides my own, so I would have to look at not only what I think the business can be successful of, but what would my customers think, what would the community think, what would investors, all the above, to make sure that everyone is fully believing in this company, not just me. And then I think to be a friend to all employees, I think that was something he did a very good job at. Like I said, people wanted to follow him. People continue to want to work for all of his companies because he was such a caring and compassionate manager and leader for all of his employees. And lastly, what do you think is the most important leadership lesson in this case? Something that he really spoke on was talent flow versus talent pools. And a statement he made to kind of explain that is, extraordinary people achieved outstanding results in large part because they abandoned conventional thinking about keeping the best employees. And so what Brinker did was he did want to keep his employees, but not for too long, because he wanted those employees to be able to go on and move on in their careers, and to know that he wanted these employees to leave and have positive things to say about the company. And he wanted to bring in fresh minds and keep the cycle going, not just to keep the same energy and the same people going. So it just showed that he really did care about his employees, not just staying for the long haul, but to move on in their careers and to come back and always want to help out the company. So overall, I was very impressed by Norman Brinker and what he has achieved in his businesses and throughout the community and society. And I think it's something that we should all live by as an influence. Thank you.